Kambachagala kame to adzolakis. Kambachagala kame adzolakis. Saraha says in this Toha, it's not Arab country, okay? Toha. Mahasad Saraha is the great India sage, and Toha is his commentary. It's a very beautiful and poetic text. And it says, without compassion, the view of the emptiness will never lead you to the sublime path. Make joke. The English, the Tibetan, I think different translate from the Sanskrit, and a little bit slightly different, but it's okay. That means without compassion, only you have thinking about the view of the emptiness. Alone of the emptiness never lead you enlightenment. Never. Therefore, that means you need compassion. And also, yet meditation solely on compassion, you remained within samsara. So how could you be free? This is like kind of the liberate two extremes. Empty aspect, the wisdom of the empty, make liberation of the samsara's extremes. And no, it's like the, samsara's extremes. And compassion's aspect and make the liberation extreme of the nirvana. And therefore, these two are the liberator from the samsara and nirvana. Then it's like kind of the go beyond the samsara and nirvana to achieve the supreme enlightenment. Therefore, he said, but he or she who comes to possess both of these, compassion and wisdom of emptiness, while neither in samsara nor in nirvana dwells. This supreme being, bodhisattvas, never dwell in the one side of samsara nirvana. If bodhisattva practitioner, it has both compassion and the wisdom of the emptiness, then it's become the perfect enlightenment. And therefore, same as the kind of the Nagarjuna to saying, because I have no position, I can only be without faults. Samsarika faults, nirvana's faults. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. It dwells neither in samsara or the nirvana is the non-dual nirvana. Supreme, perfect, extraordinary, utterly enlightenment, the level of the total Buddhahood. If you sometimes partially to practice or develop compassion, maybe lack of the wisdom emptiness and problems. And sometimes you practice emptiness, wisdom of emptiness, lack of the compassion, problems. Difficult to go beyond the extreme of the samsara nirvana. All the times dwell some in the extreme of nirvana and samsaras. And same as the Lord Nagarjuna says, empty of the which companion is the very essence, is only for those who want enlightenment. Those who wanted the level of total Buddhahood, then this the very essence, which is the wisdom emptiness, heart core is the compassion. Emptiness, compassion, compassion is emptiness. Unseparability, combined together, that is the extraordinary essence. This kind of the practitioners easily or really want to be enlightenment. Dromtamba once asked Atisha what was the ultimate of all the teachings. Reality, really the important like teaching in the Buddhas or in the suttas, mentioning all the Buddha's teachings, which is the most important to practice. Atisha 100% replied to say like this: of all the teachings, the ultimate is emptiness, of which compassion is the very essence. Emptiness, luminosity of the compassions. This is like unseparability or the unification. It is the very essence. That is you need to practice. Replied the master Atisha, student Damtamba. It's like the very powerful medicine, a panacea, which can cure every disease in the world. Panacea. This medicine is a very special medicine. This medicine can antidote any kind of the disease, maybe even the pandemic, but difficult to find it. This kind of medicine is, there's no many medicine, but the panacea medicine is the extraordinary, can cure any sickness. Example that, exactly, choose like that, very powerful medicine, realization of the truth of the emptiness, the essence of the very essence of compassion, or the nature of reality, is the remedy for all the different negative emotions. The empty nature, if you realize that, all the sickness of the disturbing emotions can cure. Disturbing emotion, obscuration, clinging, grasping, so on. You understand the essential non-existence of the empty nature, they never seek you. They can cure to you. And there is another question. Why is it then, Dromtonba, Wanton, that so many people who claim to have realized emptiness have no lesser attachment and hatred? That is a wonderful question. Many Dharma practitioners, this kind of problems. Say, I meditate on emptiness, but my disattachment, hatred is increased. Of course, many Dharma practitioners, they say this, or they proclaim, I realized the emptiness, I understood the emptiness, I meditate all the time as emptiness. I understand the Ripa awareness, I understand the meaning of the Madhyamika, Mahamudra, great perfections. But my attachment, desire, hatred, it doesn't lessen. Why? Very good question. Excellent questions. Then because that realization is only the word, Atisha replied. Very important. This is, for example, give me perfect answer for me. Years to study it, years to kind of practice, years analysis about the empty nature. Conceptually, yeah, I understand emptiness. All the phenomena, I understand no substantial existence. But then close to look at my own attachment, hatred, desire, jealous, so on, as same before. Then what is going on? Because that means never take serious into the mind. Only worldly, morally. That is problems. Therefore, Atishas replied, only like they say in the worldly, mouthly, conceptually, but they never really to meditate on it. They never actually realize that. Had they really grasped the true meaning of emptiness, really is exactly the grasped the meaning fully to understand, manifested into the mind, the empty form of text into our minds. Their thoughts, words, and deed would be as soft as stepping on a cotton wool or the samba soup laced with butters. Really to understand the meaning of the empty nature of the disattachment, the empty nature of the anger, hatred, jealousies, all the disturbing emotions. Then word and deeds and worldly or body actions would be very soft kindness externally. All the kind of the movement of the bodies, deeds, very kind, peace, and tempted. And inside, disturbing emotions, like kind of the controls. They really kind of manage any kind of disturbing emotions, anger, hatred, disattachment, jealousies. And therefore, this person is like a cotton wool. You put step on it, very soft. Cotton wool, or like kind of the plastic kind of mattis. There are many things. Or it's like innerly zamba soup, like beginning disturbing emotions, full of the in our minds, like a zamba soup, very hard, not delicious, burn, boilingly pok pok pok. Sija said, go go go. Sija. You need to make the soft. Let's say with the butter. In Tibet we call the somars, and the kind of butter or the cream you put inside. Then satamba soup is become soft, very much delicious, like this. Inner like samba soup of the disturbing emotions, you put the compassion, the realization of the emptiness battle, then disturbing emotion samba soup is completely calm. Not kind of boiling pok pok pok. Not kind of the runny rondo like go go go. Everything's become very nice. And also there's the Master Iron Deva said that even to wonder whether or not all things were empty by nature would make samsara feel a spart apart. Lopan Ayandeva, a great kind of the Buddhist masters, he said, if you understand really the nature of the phenomena, which is the empty by nature, and that is a kind of, there's no any kind of the doubt. Or you can to say it's a little bit kind of to analyze, really empty or not empty. If you analyze, it's like kind of your perspective inside samsara automatically fell apart, collapsed naturally. The means of the samsara, it is the clinging, grasping, wrong belief, no existent things, existence, unclean, clean. This sort of wrong grasping, wrong kind of clingings, you understand that really it is not really existence. Why am I clinging? What am I grasping? That means is the fill. Samsara is a fall into emptiness. They're like this. Okay. This kind of not much need you detail, you understand perfectly. But anyway, true realization of the emptiness, therefore, it is the ultimate panacea which included all the elements of the path inside. All the teachings, path, everything is in order to, what is the methods in order to realize the emptiness? You understand the non-substantial existence of the empty nature of the wisdom, the Tenzing nature, then there's no path, no more study Dharma. How you can every element of the path be included within the realization of emptiness? Drontonba asked to his teacher Atisha. Wonderful questions. This sort of we need to ask. And if I realize that to nature reality is emptiness, how it is all the path to be included within the realization of emptiness? Then of course, surely Chobos Atishas replies, all the elements of the path are the contained in the six transcendent perfections. Listen very carefully in Runtumba, Jarunjoni. And all the elements of the path are contained. Everything is into the six transcendent perfections. Six transcendent, how it is included or contained into the natural empty natures. Now, if you truly realize the emptiness, nature of the realities, you become free from attachment. As you feel no craving, grasping, or the desire for anything within or out, you always have transcendent generosities. He's like more detailing how it is the contain all other paramatas in the realization of the emptiness. If you truly, utterly, purely realize that supreme empty nature, you become the free from the attachment, absolutely. And also it's like kind of the free craving, grasping, desire for anything within in your mind, out any kind of phenomena. Then you have all the times, it said in the beginning above, everything is letting go. All the times there is transcendent generosities. Being free from grasping and attachment, you are never defiled by negative actions. Absolutely. Someone hasn't got any grasping and attachment. Then where is the discipline? Not the kind of separate discipline. If haven't got grasping, attachment, this person has never have defiled by any negative actions. Then that is the always have transcendent discipline. Absolutely. Without any concepts of I and mine, you have no anger, so you always have transcendent patience. You establish no existence of the I, according that you are free from any grasping, attachment, and you are free from any negative emotions. Then of course, no, there is anger. Then that is the great patience. That is the transcendent of the patient. Therefore, if you realize that the empty nature included the patience, generosities, discipline, and also your mind made truly joyful by the realization of the emptiness, you always have transcendent diligence. When you study the more empty nature, analyze on the self-existence, analyze the self of the phenomena, you more understand deeply, profoundly approach the non-substantially existence, you more interest, more realize it, more enthusiastic, more truly enjoy. That is the automatically you have the transcendent diligent. Therefore you are even the interest supreme empty natures included transcendent diligent. Being free from the distinctions which comes from grasping at things as solid, you always transcend concentrations. Concentration or not concentration, if your mind is not disturbed or distractions, then no concentrations, but mind is not kind of the distracted, mind is from the destruction, particularly from the grasping and solely kind of the thinking, materials, quoting the kind of clinging grasp way. That you're free, then you have all the wise, naturally, automatically transcendent concentrations. Because from the graspings at the things, you do realize that empty nature of grasping, things, everything, then there is the concentrations included. As you do not conceptualize anything whatsoever is terms of subject, object, and action, you always have transcendent wisdoms. This is a kind of the term of the subject, object, and actions are enhanced by the realization of empty nature. That is the transcendent of the wisdoms. And therefore, 6 paramatas included realization of the emptiness. Do those who have realized the truth become Buddhas simply through the view of the emptiness and meditation? Dronthamba asked. Wonderful questions. Do those who have realized the truth is the emptiness, then it's become simply through the view of the emptiness, and the top of that, meditations, meditate on emptiness, that is become the enlightenment. Only like this. And then is how it's the Tahu Rinpoche's. That was Atisha's replies. Of all that we are perceive as form and sound, there is nothing that does not arise from the mind. To realize that the mind is awareness, is indivisible from emptiness, is the view. This is the same as the advice to the Gonzong Chujel by the, of course, Patrul Rinpoche. It says, when you analyze your minds, there's no source of the past, present, future. You look at your minds free from the past, future, present. Only see the clearly emptiness. This emptiness, it is not different the mind is. That is the simplicity of the mind. Same way here is. Whatever we perceived as the forms, sound, smell, taste, all the 5 senses, Nothing that existence or something in the externally. Everything is arise from your minds. Then you closer to analyze the mind, realize that the mind is awarenesses. The mind of the awareness is indivisible from the emptiness. Emptiness is awarenesses, and awarenesses is as emptiness. This is your views. Keeping the realization in the mind at all times and never being distracted from it. It is the meditations that you need to meditate Dromtamba. You first times to look at all the external phenomena, it comes from your minds. Your mind is the kind of awarenesses, is not different. The awarenesses and the emptiness indivisible. That realization, it is your view. You know with distracted minds to maintain on it, that is your great meditation. Practice the true accumulation as a magic illusion from within. That state is the actions. That state, it is the indivisible form, empty, and the awarenesses. Meditate on it. Sometimes you can to practice accumulations. And also maybe you think, I need to act in order to accumulations. Like kind of the working with the six transcendent. Make generosity, keep the discipline, patience, diligent, meditative concentrations, so on. But actually, if you maintain indivisible form, emptiness, and the awarenesses, it can accumulate automatically. This is like kind of the primordially uncompleted the accumulation merits, accumulations. When you maintain the essence nature emptiness, that is the accumulation of the wisdom. And the Ripa awarenesses, it is connected to the compassion luminosities, is accumulation merit of merit. The inversibility, indivisible of this two unification of these two, like sometimes you are doing two accumulations. That is the like kind of great actions. If you make a living experience of this practice in this life, in this moment, it is very important. If you under the control this view, meditation actions, it will continue in your dreams. Maybe you can to control. You have that sign can occur. View meditation actions. If your dreams can occur, then if it comes in the dream state, it will come at the moment of the death. If dreams can occur, first during the day you need to meditate on it, control in it. Then maybe the sign can occur into your dreams. If in your dream can occur that state, then is that sign means it's like the moment of the death at this kind of you have experience. It come at the moment of the death, it will come in the intermediate state, bardo, after that you died. If this is presented in the intermediate state, you may be certain of the attained supreme accomplishment, Buddhahood. Maybe if you make a living experience of this practice, view, meditation, actions on this life, maybe you be like during the day you become enlightenment. You can to attain supreme accomplishment. Maybe in the dreams is something happened, probably. Maybe you fully to understand, you become the like supreme enlightenment, accomplishment. Maybe in the death, maybe in the state, intermediate state. You more than that, you don't maybe not necessarily go further. You will be enlightenment. If you're really too serious to practice that. The 84,000 doors to the Dharma that the conqueror told are thus all skillful means to cause the bodhicitta emptiness of the which compassion, which is the very essence, to rise in us. 84,000 teachings, it is the antidote for the 84,000 disturbing emotions. The teaching itself goes the antidote for the 80,000 disturbing emotions. How it is like kind of this great activity or the instructions given by the conqueror of the Buddha. Why he taught like this? This is skillful means to make the cause bodhicitta emptiness, the emptiness of bodhicitta, bodhicitta of emptiness, which is the compassion. When you are talking about compassion, it is the unification of bodhicitta emptiness. When you say the bodhicitta is, you necessarily unification of emptiness and compassion. When you say the emptiness, not nothingness, the unification of emptiness is compassion. Therefore, the bodhicitta emptiness, which is compassion, is the very essence. This is like in order to arise in our mind streams. For that, Buddha, he taught 84,000 teachings. It goes antidote for the 84,000 disturbing emotions. Disturbing emotions decrease it. Increase realization of the bodhicitta, emptiness, which is the compassions. Then we slowly purified two obscurations and also automatically accomplishment of the two accumulations. Without bodhicitta, teaching on the view and meditation, action, so on, however profound they may seem, will be no use at all for the attained perfect Buddhahood. Without bodhicitta, compassion, maybe you have the teaching on the view of the emptiness, the meditation of the emptiness. However profound, deep, they may, and it looks like sin, will be no use at all for in order to attain perfect Buddhahood. Impossible if there is no bodhicitta. And also same way in the Tantric perspective. Tantric practice, like the generation phase and the perfection phase, and so on. Practice within the contact of the bodhicitta lead to complete Buddhahood in one lifetime. The Tantric practice, very much profound, particularly generation phase and dissolution phase. and so on. There's the leap over, cutting through. And also like kind of spontaneous present, so on. Combine together compassions, it can bring out Buddhahood one single this life in this moment, with contact of the Bodhicitta. But without Bodhicitta, even those authentic path or the suttas path are no different from the methods of the Tirthikas, like no Buddhist way. And only is like kind of the Buddhist or not Buddhist depends the refugee and the Bodhicitta. No Buddhist of the Tirthikas also they have. Tirthikas also have many practice involving meditating on the deities. They have some kind of the creation stage, creation phase, or the perfection phase. And also they have like kind of meditation, recite the mantras, working with the channels and the energy bindus, prana, so on. Yogas, many there is. And even that they also to have on accordance with the principle of the cause and effect. They also talking about the causalities. But it is solely because they do not take refuge, Buddha, Dharma, Sanghas, or the arousing Bodhicitta, only focus on oneself. They are unable to achieve the liberation from the realms of the samsara. Very difficult. Buddhist or no Buddhist depends absolutely taking refuge and like an arousing Bodhicitta. Of course, you have kind of Bodhicitta, even the Tirthikas, no Buddhist, but very much partialities. Like someone's like part of the deity or God, you need to compassion, but part is not really God. You need to like kind of to eat or kill. And like compassion, I myself, my family, my societies, but not for the enemies, animals, so on. And in the Buddhist, the Buddha's compassion is the extraordinary. Everything is included, nothing excluded. Therefore, this kind of compassion. And then it's like taking refuge in the practitioner of the extraordinary compassion, which is Buddha and teaching compassion Dharma, practitioner of compassion of the Sangha. Like this. This is why at the Geshe Karab Gongchompa said, the Geshe Karab Gongchompa is a Geshe Karab Gompopa's student. And it is no use taking all the vow from this of the refuge up to the authentic samayas, unless you turn your mind away from the things of this world. Of course, here is how we need to away from the things of this world. Even we are started taking patimoksha's vow or refuge vows, and Bodhisattva enter the like kind of tantric samayas. Unless you turn your minds away from the samsara, then it's not very much benefit. And also, if no use concentratedly preaching to the Dharma, to the others, unless you can pacify your own pride. This is like truth. Some teacher in the decadent times, same as myself, you try to give teaching Dharma, preaching to the Dharma, to telling to the others. But unless our own mind is disturbing emotions or proud, arrogant, so on, it is pacified. If own disturbing emotions is not pacified, why you are teach Dharma to the others? Need to take example ourselves, then you can to tell. Patrul Rinpoche say, if you give advice to the others, teaching Dharma others, first times you need to fathom yourself, you need to measure yourself, how it is going on, your characteristics, behaviors, disturbing emotions. There's like kind of, maybe you become the teacher. At that moment, surely you need pacified your body, speech, mind. There's no need to contaminate it. Negative characteristics, negative emotions, negative words. That is the very important. That is like kind of. And also it's use making progress if you are relegate the refuge precepts to the last place. You are like kind of making progress. Maybe you like kind of generation stage, dissolution. There's great profundity, emptiness, so on, so on. But if you relegate, means it's like lost refugee precepts, that is not really benefit. Like kind of the last place means is the like useless. It's not use practicing day and night unless you combine this with Bodhicitta. That is the conclusion. And of course, maybe you practice, study, reflect on day and night, a very busy way. Embark to any kind of the virtue activities. If you not combine it, the compassions, then it's become the not very much useful, useless. Unless you first create the proper foundation with the refugee and Bodhicitta. However intensively you might seem to be studying, reflection and meditation. Meditating. You are preparing, studying, reflect on it, meditating on it. But firstly, you should study taking refuge, arousing bodhicittas. Reflect on in it how it is, the meaning of the taking refuge, the meaning of arousing bodhicitta. And if we meditate on it, how it is, the result is everything. And also meditate on it again, and again. That is the basic foundation, fundamental, necessary for your path. But without that, intensively you're doing something, studying, reflect, and meditation, other things, it's not very much useful. All the teachings need to rely on the refugee and Bodhicitta. This is the example set. It will all the no more use then, based on 9 story mentioned on the frozen, like in a winter, and painting fresco course on its plastered walls. Ultimately, it makes no sense at all. In the winter times, you go to in the ice. You make beautiful house building, not only 1 floor, 9 stories, floors. And you make the very nice plastery, and on the plasteries you wrote a lot of paintings, frescoes, doing many different. But ultimately, spring's coming, ice is melting. Nothing there is kind of the meaningful. It's nothing kind of no sense at all, collapsed, disappeared. Like exactly the same way, never undervalue the refugee and bodhicitta practice, assuming that they are inferior or just for beginners. Therefore, maybe without bodhicitta, the refugees or the refugee of the bodhicitta practice, may you really profoundly, like intensively, maybe you practice to reflect on, study, meditate on it. It is like kind of you building on the ice. Some in the moment, maybe you lose your interest, faith, devotion, lot of doubt and concurring, then naturally collapse. Therefore, do not contempt or insult or kind of it's beginnings, this refuge and bodhicittas. Don't concern in that. You should complete them in full within the framework of preparation, main practice, and a conclusion that applies to any path. First, fundamentally, in the beginning, the framework of the preparation, it is taking refuge, arousing bodhicitta. You need to complete them in fully, utterly. Main and practice, conclusion that apply to the any path. Afterwards, any kind of the path, it is needed, like a preparation, main practice, conclusions. Preparation, it is taking refuge and the arousing bodhicitta. Main practice, generally speaking, non-conceptualizations. And also is connected to the refugee in bodhicitta. And third one's conclusions, that is the dedications, also is connected to the refugee in bodhicittas. then this is apply to any kind of the practice, the liberation path. Unsurpassable, these three things. It is most important for everyone, good or bad, higher or low, to concentrate their sincerest effort on this practice. Sincerest, determinedly, confirmedly, first focus on refugee and bodhicittas. Very important, these two things. This is like the most important for everyone's. The teachings, good or bad, higher or low. Everything is combines these true refuge and bodhicittas. Very important, concentrate their sincere effort on this practice, which is refuge and bodhicitta. In the particularly case of the lamas and monks who take donation from the faithful who receive fund on behalf of the date or hold ceremonies to guide the date, it's absolutely indispensable that they have sincere bodhicittas. Most is the particularly offering object receiver of the name of the lama or the monk or nun. They kind of received any kind of donations from the kind of the faithful, donation from the faithful. This foundation is the half of the dead person's donation, or something is a ceremony for sick or like complications curry, then they donate to the lamas, monks, nuns. Then those lamas and monks, nuns are the guide to the dead or to help to the suffering, sick, any kind of problem sentient beings. And those kind of the puja makers, prayer doers, it is absolutely indispensable. It's necessarily that they have utter, pure, sincere bodhicitta. They need their mind streams. Without it, bodhicitta, and of course refuge and bodhicitta, maybe principally bodhicitta. Without it, none of their ritual and purification will be of the sluts that used to either the living or the dead. Maybe you are doing such a kind of the rituals, bang bang shak shak kang kang wan wan, eat kill sop job bang guang guan ran, and also purifications, dead or living or the dead. The doer of the lamas, monks, nuns, they haven't got any compassions, any kind of intensive puja ritual, doing things, almost nothing benefit. Therefore, those doer of puja ritual, receiver of the donations should to develop refuge prayer and the rousing bodhicitta. For other, they might appear to be helping, but deep down, that help will always be mixed with selfish motives. If you haven't got any compassion, source of refugees, you are kind of the doing things, might seemingly kind of the help, like kind of shamanism, like kind of the doing in the Buddhist way. And Bon, Buddhist, any religious perspective, they're kind of doing puja for the benefactors. There's sometimes kind of the benefit, but if you haven't got any compassion, so the refugees, finally it is not very good, because it's like only selfish motivated, how much I will get, how much I receive, some donations, thinking like this. And you do like this, for themselves they will be defiled, kind of the evil deeds. This is by accepting those offerings and well engaged endless thoughts that can only lead them to lower realm in their next life. Of course, we know that very well in the historically there is one black horse rider in the central Tibet. These lamas can receive a lot of the donations, yaks, horse, but maybe only like kind of so concerning mixed with selfish motivate. Then after he died in the reborn in the femoral health. Therefore, doer of the or the acceptor of the donations, you should take care. You need to properly to dedicate, generate bodhicitta compassions. Okay, we can just stop there. 10 minutes.